Welcome to everyone. In today's video, we are going to visit a Slovakian castle, Bojnice. In my opinion, the most beautiful castle of Slovakia. In order to translate my view into reality, today I'm going to take you on a very detailed 360-degree walk around the Bojnice castle. And we will look at the castle from all sides and angles around the Bojnice castle. As I am a native of the nearby area and I know Bojnice castle quite well, I believe that I will be able to show you the castle from a new perspective, that a tourist visiting the castle for the first time may not have noticed. To make our walk more interesting, we will talk about the history of the Bojnice castle and the town of Bojnice, since the history of Bojnice is closely related to Bojnice castle. Next, I will give you an overview about the historical construction of the Bojnice castle, how the wooden castle was transformed into the stone Gothic castle and later into at present form in the Renaissance castle residence. In this tour, I will also present indoor premises, and as this is a perfect looking painted fairy tale castle, at the end of this tour I will tell you a legend that has been well known for centuries related to the castle Bojnice. Regards the history, the first written mention of the existence of the castle Bojnice is from the year 1113 in the deed of the Zobor Abbey, where the inhabitants under the castle Bojnice are mentioned. The castle was originally made of the wood and developed from an older castle. Gradually, during the 13th century, it was built of the stone as the property of the Hun Poznan family. At the end of the 13th century, the Hungarian nobleman Matúš Čach Trenčanský took possession of Bojnice castle 1299, and the castle belonged to him until 1321, and during his lifetime he developed into one of the most significant, powerful and feared personalities of Hungarian history during the Middle Age. His power was feared not only by other noble families and the church, but also by the Hungarian King Charles Robert of Anjou. He ruled the territory independently for many years. He had his own court and pursued an independent religious, economic and political agenda. After Matúš Čach passed away 1321, it was managed by the Royal Castellans Guild. From 1377, it was owned by Duke Ladislav Opolský. In 1395, it was owned by Palatine Lowstach. In 1430, by the Norfolk family. In 1475, it fell to the Chamber. The town Bojnice, with a market and hot spa, has been mentioned since 1113. In 1366, town Bojnice received privilege in the field of criminal law. In the 15th century, the Favorites. From 1395, they developed as a feudal town of the castle estate of Bojnice in the coat of arms, which dates from the 15th century. It had fortification, a monumental building with a double battlement, the peak, a castle with a side entrance. The turret depicts bastions at different distance from the castle itself. In 1530 to 1599, the city was looted and burned. The Turks, in 1623, ravaged by Bedouin troops. It was fortified with walls until 1663, but already in 1683 it became the prey of Turkey, and in 1705 Ferdinand Rákóczi II. In the 16th and 17th centuries, saffron, salt and iron were traded in the local markets. After the border was stabilized territories, that were occupied by the Turks. An important road to Vienna, to Sibiu in Transylvania lead through Horná Nitria county. At the end of the 17th century, they moved a postal transport station from a town Prievidza to Bojnice town. In 1828, there were 116 houses and 811 inhabitants in Bojnice. In the 19th century, pottery spread and there were mills and manna brewery. The town had income from fairs, from the rent of the town mills, and have established a fire station, 1892. Important history relate to the castle. In a year 1489, a Matěj Korvin donated Bojnice castle together with the estate to his illegitimate son Jan Korvin, who together with his fiancée Blanka Sforozova became very fond of the estate and its surroundings. The well-known spa, which they often visited, also contributed to this. After the death of the King Matěj, the Zapolsky troops seized the castle and ordered it to be inhabited. This lasted until 1526, and then in 1527, King Ferdinand I donated the castle to Alexei Tours. The Tours family modified the castle and rebuilt it into a comfortable Renaissance residence. The original Gothic castle acquired the character of the Renaissance castle with residential buildings of the same height grouped around an inner courtyard. Bojnice castle had an advantageous strategic location, which was confirmed by events in the 16th and 17th centuries, when it resisted the Turkish onslaught. In 1636, after the extinction of the Turzon family, the castle again belonged to the crown. A year later, in 1637, get the Bojnice castle with estate Pavlo Palfi for 200,000 guilders. The castle was conquered by Tekali troops in 1683 and later by Rákóczi troops in 1704 to 1708. After a long period of stagnation and decline, the Bojnice estate with the castle was acquired in 1852 by its last noble owner, Kontai Jan František Palfi. Decided to rebuild the castle into a romantic castle. He used the French Gothic castle from the Loire River Valley, the Papal Palace in Avignon, as a model. The architect of the Neo-Gothic reconstruction was Joseph Hubert. However, he became only a tool in the hands of his customer with highly refined artistic taste, such Palfi himself drew and designed and managed all the works. This Neo-Gothic reconstruction lasted 22 years, from 1889 to 1910. Kontai Palfi did not live to see its complete completion. He died in Vienna on June 2nd, 1908, as an old bachelor, because he had not direct heirs. Soon after his death, disputes broke out between relatives about the inheritance. In 1923, a friendly agreement was concluded between the heirs of Kontai Palfi and the Czechoslovak state, in which collection were determined that would not be the subject of action. In 1939, the castle and the land were bought by the famous shoes company owner Baťa. After the Second War, on the basis of Beneš decrees, the property of the state fell to state. Since 1950, a museum has been permanently located in the castle Bojnice, which is now part of the Slovak National Museum. Each of the owners subjected Bojnice castle underwent a partial reconstruction, and each owner gave the castle its own shape, and so Bojnice castle has rooms in different styles. Bojnice castle was never completely destroyed, and therefore it was possible to preserve Bojnice castle in relatively good condition. but in 1950 a large-scale fire affected the Bojnice castle, which caused a lot of damage, but did not destroy so many premises. Before being made available to the public, several rooms were restored to their original form according to preserved period photographs. A large part of the original equipment was used, but some elements had to be custom made. The last private owner, Jan František Pálffy, wanted the castle to be made available to the public after his death, and this wish was written down in his will. And the last owner of the Bojnice castle is buried in a magnificent sarcophagus that visitors can see on a tour of the castle, and it was the sarcophagus that triggered a great wave of attention in the 1990s, when an unknown liquid began to flow out of it, which they subjected to extensive research. Over time, they began to call it Pálffy stairs, because the former owner was mourned for the altar, which was taken from the chapel to Prague. After a detailed study, they discovered that mineralized liquid from Jan Pálffy body was leaking from the tomb. But the interesting thing is that the liquid stopped appearing exactly shortly after the artifact was returned to the castle. Of course, Bojnice castle attracted several films crew, and a few parts of the story about Princess Fantakiro were filmed at the castle. I personally had an offer to participate in the filming as an extra, but I refused at the time. Otherwise, part of the scene from the Crazy Sad Princess and also the fairy tale Johanka Secret were filmed at the castle. In respect of the legend, during the reign of John Corwin, Peter Pocky was a castellan at Bojnice castle, said to be a man of disgusting appearance, mean soul and very stingy. The healing springs of warm Bojnice spa water were used by the estate and the common people. The healing water restored people's health. Stingy Pocky wanted get rich. He ordered build barriers at the springs and introduced fees for use the water. The rich didn't mind, so Pocky chests were filled with ducats. Once a cripple with disfigured limbs came to the healing springs, hoping that the healing water would help him. Heartless Pocky spotted him and brutally chased him away. The beggar, uttered Pocky's curse, lives without bathing in the healing springs, and honors Pocky with equally harsh words. May your black ducats turn to stone, and you yourself perish by the hands of the executioner in front of the eyes of these whom you humiliated. And the healing spring water disappeared. The castellan was furious with anger, but consoled himself with the fact that he had chests full of gold ducats. But what was his surprise when he opened the chest and saw only round pebbles in them. He found no shiny coins but only a pile of grey flat stones. He screamed in anger and threw the chest with pebbles into the ditch. And so, to this day, they surround Bojnice castle. Another legend says that only after Pocky's death did the springs of healing water in Bojnice erupt again. And that brought us to the end of this winter walk around the Bojnice castle. Trust you find this video interesting. What I can say is that at the first time I have put subtitles into my video because there were lots of strange words to people coming outside of the Slavic countries may not be familiar with the names of people and places. Also, for me, such specific historical words of English were new, so trust you will appreciate this addition to this video to get most of it, and I expect to hit the like button from you guys and consider subscribe this channel get grow, as the content I believe is attractive for wider audience. And I see you in another video.